Yo.
Nice little beard you got there.
Yeah.
How much would someone pay you to grow it all the way?
$1 million?
$1 million?
Yeah.
You'd be like Fear the Beard, man. All the way here.
Oh.
Yeah, Fear the Beard. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Kagi Cartel, and today we have a special performance review of James Harden's newest signature sneaker, the Harden Volume 4. So James Harden's fourth signature shoe, and what a journey it's been. I still remember playing the Harden 1s, 2s, 3s, and we're here on Volume 4. And I think that this is something that Adidas and James Harden probably needed. It's a real breath of fresh air to sort of their conventional design and sort of their setups. But more on that in the performance review. Let's go through some design aspects first. So the Harden Volume 4, if you've seen the previous Harden models, you'll notice that this is a very drastic change to what his previous models look like. Gone is the boost, it's been replaced by light strike. And so this sort of shape or design sort of takes inspiration from Adidas's, I think, BYW or FYW. One of those. Please let me know in the comment section if you know. I think it's BYW. Yeah, I think. But anyway, the design, I think it just looks really cool. This is the barbershop colorway. I know they've released 4 other colorways. There's the pink one, a sort of camo looking one, this colorway, and a white zebra one, if I'm not mistaken. And out of all 4 initial release, I think that this is one of the littest one, if that's a word. This is one of my favorite ones, so one of my favorite colorways. So you can see here, it sort of feels like a lifestyle shoe blended with a lot of performance aspects. You have the cushion here, you have this sort of plasticky material here, and bear in mind that each colorway does come with different materials. So here I have some leather and some knit, as well as full leather at the back with the Harden's logo here, and sort of pod-like looking traction pattern, multicolored, which is really cool. Now moving on to the performance, as always, starting off with the traction. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw this traction pattern, I was not impressed. Like, I thought this just looked like it wasn't gonna work. I was gonna slip, I was gonna slide, but color me surprised. These actually perform really, really well. It's a solid sort of outsole as well. You see sort of multi-directional pods with multi-directional traction patterns. You have isolated sort of areas where traction can be found, and it just really works. I was really, really surprised. I took this out to dusty courts, mildly dusty courts, and clean courts, and on all 3 surfaces, these actually perform really, really well. I guess it's because of the traction pattern that dust doesn't get clogged up as easily or at all. So even if I had to wipe, like, I don't get much dust residue. That's how good the traction pattern is. And yeah, like I said, I was really, really surprised. The traction really works and are an absolute beast, you know, considering James Harden's sort of style of play with the triple, quadruple step back. So the quick crossovers, traction is definitely really good on this shoe. Moving on to the cushion, this is where it varies from the previous Harden models. So for the first time, the Harden Volume 4 features light strike cushion. And we first saw light strike cushion actually in the Adidas Next Level. So if you see my review for that, do check it out. This is the exact same cushion setup as before. So what light strike is a new type of carrier foam. It's sort of a mixture between bounce and boost. I guess you could say this is a takedown of bounce, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't perform just as well. The light strike cushion gives you a really good court feel while not taking away the impact protection. I do feel, however, that over time this will bottom out, so that's something to take note of if you're a bigger, heavier sort of player playing these. These might bottom out because it's a much lighter foam as compared to boost or bounce. But overall, it does do its job. You know, impact protection is there, court feel is there. You won't feel as high off the ground. It's plush, and yeah, it works. You know, bigger guys might not like this sort of cushion setup, but for a guard who appreciates court feel as well as some impact protection, these are really good. Moving on to the materials. As I said, each colorway features sort of different materials, right? So for this particular barbershop colorway, I've got some, I wouldn't say premium, but good feeling leather here, backed up by a mesh overlay and leather all the way to the top here. And there's not much to shout about. I guess this is sort of top of the line for what Adidas can offer, and it feels good. It's breathable, it's flexible, it sort of molds to your feet after you've broken them in. No complaints about the material. Moving on to lockdown and support. If you notice in the close-ups here, you can see that this is actually a really low shoe. So your ankle sits very, very low. There's no sort of visible ankle support, but it works. I was surprised that my ankle didn't feel unstable. My foot was locked into place. You got a beefy heel counter here, which keeps your heel and foot locked in, and sort of a lacing system here, which is supported by what I like to call this little strap here, like a bungee. And honestly, this doesn't do much for me, but that's maybe because I'm slightly white-footed. But once my foot was in, this would not budge at all, which gave me some pain. And I don't really see the point in putting this because you're lacing up all the way up here anyway. So this doesn't really help much in my opinion anyway. But once my foot was in, I laced these up all the way to the top. You can customize your fit here, which is why you get additional lace holes here. But I find that the stock sort of lacing system works already. You just lace these up all the way to the top, tie them up, and you're good to go. Your foot will be locked in. You have no heel slippage. You won't feel any instability in your ankles. You're good. So overall, fit is decent, support is decent. It's nothing, to shout home about. It just works. Players who have ankle problems might be a little bit skeptical because of how low the shoe sits, but you just gotta try them out before you make your purchase. Now moving on to the fit, this is where I always have problems with Adidas's shoe sizing. Like I usually go through the size. Some Adidas basketball shoes like the Dame 5, the Harden 1, I went half size down, and I just don't trust Adidas's sizing, sorry. But I had to try this on in store first, and I went true to size in this shoe. You could go a half size down, but for white footers, I really, really recommend that you try these shoes in store before you make a purchase, because once I put my foot in, this area was super, super snug. There was no give, as I said before. There's not much give in this lacing sort of elastic band bungee thing here. And once my foot was, inside the shoe, I just felt this entire thing sort of wrap around my foot and suffocate my foot to a point where it actually hurt. I'm all for like wrapping your shoe to that one-to-one fit and getting it in like really snug fit, but this was just too much. It literally took me about 2 weeks straight of playing this to break them in for them to actually feel more comfortable. I even had to wear these casually around the office just to break them in. It's because every time I try this on court, they just hurt to a point where it was very unpleasant to play in. It was so uncomfortable. My feet were just so painful that I had to swap out and gradually take my time to break this in. Something to note when if you want to get these shoes, it's that the breaking time for me personally was quite long. So if you can bear through that pain, then by all means go ahead. If you can't, then look somewhere else. So for fit, I do recommend that you try them on, but if you really cannot try them on, if you're a white footer, just skip the shoe completely because you would have such a tough time, wearing these. It'll be so painful. Narrow footers, you're good to go true to size. You could go half size down, but I wouldn't recommend that. Definitely true to size. If anything, go true to size. Overall, I think that this is a very, very interesting take to Harden's fourth signature shoe. I do not agree with them changing Light Strike from Boost, but hey, who am I to say? If Harden likes it and if he can get a triple-double every night in these, then hats off, Harden. You do you, man. This is your signature shoe. But overall, this isn't the most enjoyable shoe to play in. It looks cool and all, but for me, I don't see myself playing these very often, so I might give this away, so stay tuned for that. If you're a follower, I might give it away to a lucky follower, who knows? Stay tuned. So unless you're a huge James Harden fan and you needed to try his fourth signature shoe, then go for it. But regular players, I'm not sure that these are shoes for everybody. They're more catered to a certain sort of player with a certain play style, and yeah, go for it. So those are my thoughts on the Harden Volume 4. Let me know in the comment section down below if you've managed to try them on in store or if you played in the Harden 4. Let me know what your experiences are playing this shoe, because for me, it was very, very painful. The break-in time was way too long and it just wasn't enjoyable until it finally broke in. So let me know in the comment section down below. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe down the Huddle below, as well as follow me on Instagram at BTCakes for more sneaker content. Until next time guys, we out.